Austin Ekeler, currently going as running back 2 in most formats. I've seen him going ranked as the running back 1 in many. I don't think he finishes as a top 12 running back this year. He is coming off back-to-back seasons. He was the running back 2 in 2021. He was the running back 1 overall in 2022. But I think this offense is about to go through a massive change. We've seen Kellen Moore has been brought in. There has been so much made about Justin Herbert's ability to try and do everything correctly and process through his reads and therefore check down too much. I think his ADOT is going to skyrocket this year. I think he's going to push the ball downfield. And I think that's going to massively eat into Austin Ekeler's targets. You know, he saw 128 targets last year. And that was such a huge part of his fantasy output. He had 28.3% of his fantasy points last year came purely from receptions. Now, you add into the fact that he's coming off seasons of 20 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns. Some of you may say, well, that proves that he can score a lot of touchdowns. I say that proves that there is some big regression coming. I don't necessarily believe that the Chargers are going to be so run heavy in and around the goal line. I think that they've brought in a guy like Quentin Johnson to be a movable piece and to be a weapon in the red zone. And also, Mike Williams hopefully is going to be healthy. And he is a big-bodied red zone weapon. I think that he is going to see fewer targets. I think that he is going to see fewer touchdown opportunities. And I also think that Josh Kelly has shown in the preseason that he is starting to put it together. He was appalling last year. The Chargers had nobody that could complement Austin Ekeler. From what I've seen from Josh Kelly in the preseason, I'm slightly intrigued. I'm slightly excited. If he's into Austin Ekeler's workload in the rushing game, even 10, 20% of those carries, that's a huge deal because we're talking about fewer touchdown opportunities, fewer receptions. If we're also throwing in fewer rush attempts, then I just think that, yeah, maybe top 12 is a little bit spicy. Maybe I'm being a bit too over-egging that a bit, but I just think that he is due for massive regression. And I think that he's being hugely overdrafted for what he's going to be.
I really like this tape because early on in the offseason, I was fading Austin Ekeler. And for a lot of the reasons you said, you know, the touchdowns are the obvious one, that the regression there could easily come back to bite him in the ass. But also, yeah, the receptions. He had a career best 6.5 targets per game last year, which was, you know, significantly up from his 2019 to 2021 average of 5 per game. And yes, it's only 1.5 more per game, but when you're talking like 25% of it, that's a big increase. And Austin Ekeler must be the only player in the NFL who wants the ball less. Every other player, it's like, feed it. I want to touch the ball. You know, J.K. Dobbins came off the Ravens playoff game, and he was so pissed off because he wanted to touch the ball more. He couldn't understand why Greg Roman was subbing in Gus Edwards. Meanwhile, Austin Ekeler, every offseason says, yep, one of the backup running backs needs to stand up and take more work because I can't take all the touches. So I think when Austin Ekeler does fall off, it is going to be real and it is going to be noticeable. And going back to what you mentioned about Justin Herbert's average depth of target last year as ADOT, it was 6.4, which was like right down towards the career low. You know, it was a career low, but it was also like right at the bottom of the NFL last year. But even when Mike Williams and Keenan Allen got back for those last couple of games last year, it jumped up to like 7.4, which is much more in line with an NFL average. And I think that's much more what we see. I think, you know, the fact that Kellen Moore's got Mike Williams playing in the slot in training camp, they want to look at different options for getting the ball out in plus matchups. And yeah, maybe outside the top 12 is a little spicy, but I think, let's see, when it happens for Austin Ekeler, it's not going to be pretty. And the opportunity cost of drafting him in the first round, when you're wrong on that, that's really going to cost you a season.